The white lace of the wedding dress tangled around Simone Harris's legs as she ran through the church parking area, her heart beating so hard she thought it might break through her chest. The June evening air felt cold against her skin, and her bare feet slapped against the wet pavement. Behind her, she could hear Vincent Crawford's voice calling her name, that smooth tone that used to charm her family now sending waves of fear through her body. "Simone, come back here. We can talk about this." She had seen his true nature 3 weeks ago. The way his hand had closed around her wrist when she suggested postponing the wedding. The cold look in his eyes when she tried to discuss her concerns. The bruise had faded, but the memory remained sharp and terrifying. Her family needed the money Vincent's family offered. They were drowning in debt after her father's medical bills. The Crawfords had presented themselves as saviors, and her parents, desperate and grateful, had agreed to the marriage. They didn't know what she knew. They didn't see what she saw. Tonight was supposed to be her wedding night. Instead, she was running for her life in a dress that cost more than her family's monthly rent. The parking area was dark except for the streetlights casting long shadows. Most of the guests were still inside the church, waiting for the ceremony to begin. They didn't know the bride had climbed out of the bathroom window, leaving behind her bouquet and her future. Vincent's footsteps were getting closer. He had a lantern in his hand, swinging it back and forth as he searched the rows of parked cars. The light created dancing shadows that made everything look like a nightmare. "Your family is waiting, Simone. Don't embarrass them like this." Her breathing came in short gasps. The red bridesmaid dress she had grabbed from the changing room stuck to her skin with sweat and fear. She had managed to tear off most of the wedding dress in the bathroom, leaving it in pieces on the floor. The red dress was easier to move in, though it was never meant for running. She needed to hide. She needed to think. She needed to breathe. A black luxury car sat in the corner of the parking area, slightly separate from the others. It gleamed even in the dim light, expensive and imposing. The kind of car that belonged to someone important. Simone didn't think. She just moved. The car door was locked, but the back door on the opposite side opened when she tried it. She slipped inside, pulling the door closed as quietly as possible. The interior smelled like leather and something expensive she couldn't name. She crouched down on the floor behind the front seats, making herself as small as possible. Through the tinted windows, she could see Vincent's lantern lights sweeping across the parking area. He was checking each car, looking in windows, searching for any sign of her. Her whole body shook. The red dress felt like it was suffocating her. She pressed her hand against her mouth to muffle her breathing. Vincent's shadow passed by the car. The lantern light crossed the windows. Simone closed her eyes and prayed to every higher power she could think of. "Please, please, please." The footsteps moved past. The light faded. She stayed frozen in position, afraid to move, afraid to breathe too loudly. Minutes passed like hours. Her legs cramped from the awkward position, but she didn't dare shift. She heard Vincent's voice again, farther away now, talking to someone else. Probably one of his groomsmen helping with the search. She can't have gone far. Check the street. I'll look around back. More footsteps. More voices. The search was expanding. Simone knew she couldn't stay hidden in this car forever. Eventually, someone would find her. Eventually, Vincent would drag her back to that church, and this time there would be no escape. But for this moment, she was safe. For this moment, she could breathe. The car's interior was spacious and comfortable. She could see a laptop bag on the front passenger seat, some files with a company logo she didn't recognize. Whoever owned this car had money. Real money. The kind that made Vincent's family wealth look small. She wondered what kind of person drove a car like this. Probably someone at the wedding, maybe a business associate of Vincent's father. Someone who would hand her right back to her fiancé without a second thought. The realization made her stomach turn. She was trapped. Even in her hiding place, she was trapped. Time passed slowly. The sounds of the search seemed to move away from the parking area. Maybe they thought she had made it to the street. Maybe they were checking nearby shops and cafes. Simone's body began to relax slightly, though the fear never left. She shifted carefully, trying to ease the cramp in her legs. The movement made her bare foot brush against something soft on the car floor. A blanket maybe, or a jacket. She was so tired. The adrenaline that had carried her through the escape was fading, leaving behind exhaustion and pain. Her feet hurt from running on pavement. Her arms ached from tearing off the wedding dress. Her heart hurt from the weight of everything she was leaving behind. Her phone was gone, left in her purse back at the church. She had no money, no identification, nowhere to go. Her family would be furious. Vincent would be relentless in his search. She had burned every bridge in one desperate moment of self-preservation. But she was alive. She was free. For however long it lasted, she was free. The car door suddenly opened. Simone's heart stopped. She had been so focused on her thoughts that she hadn't heard the approaching footsteps. She looked up in terror, expecting to see Vincent's face. Instead, she saw a stranger. He was tall, with dark hair and eyes that seemed to take in everything at once. He wore an expensive gray suit, the kind that probably cost more than her family's car. His expression was surprised but not angry. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then his eyes softened, taking in her disheveled appearance, the red bridesmaid dress, her bare feet, the terror in her eyes. "Please," Simone whispered. "Please don't tell them I'm here." The man glanced back toward the church, then back at her. His jaw tightened, and something shifted in his expression. Understanding. Decision. "Get in the front seat," he said quietly. "Now." Simone didn't hesitate. She scrambled over the console, wincing as her sore muscles protested. He closed the back door and moved to the driver's side, sliding in smoothly. He started the engine. The car purred to life. "Duck down," he said. "Stay low until we're away from here." She obeyed, curling herself into the footwell of the passenger seat. The car began to move, slowly at first, then faster as they left the church behind. Simone closed her eyes and wondered if she had just made the biggest mistake of her life or if this stranger was about to become her salvation. Have you ever felt so desperate that you trust a complete stranger with your life? What would you have done in Simone's situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for the next chapter of this incredible journey. The car moved smoothly through London's evening traffic, each turn taking Simone further from the church and the life she had almost been forced into. She stayed low in the footwell, her body still shaking from adrenaline and fear, listening to the stranger's calm breathing above her. After several minutes, his voice broke the silence. "You can sit up now. We're far enough away." Simone slowly lifted herself from the cramped position, her muscles protesting every movement. She settled into the passenger seat properly, finally getting a better look at the man who had just helped her escape. He kept his eyes on the road, his hands steady on the steering wheel. In the passing streetlights, she could see his face more clearly. Strong features, a sharp jawline, and an expression that seemed carved from stone. He looked like he belonged in business magazines, the kind of man who commanded rooms just by walking into them. "Thank you," Simone managed to say, her voice hoarse from fear and crying. "I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't helped me." "That man looking for you," he said, his accent distinctly British and refined. "The one with the lantern. Who is he?" "His name is Vincent Crawford. He was supposed to be my husband tonight." The stranger's hands tightened slightly on the wheel. "Was supposed to be?" "I ran. I couldn't go through with it." Simone wrapped her arms around herself, the reality of what she had done settling over her like a heavy weight. "My family needed money. His family offered it. But he's not a good man. I saw that too late. I tried to tell my parents, but they didn't believe me. They thought I was just getting cold feet." The car turned onto a main road, the lights of central London spreading out before them. Simone had never been to this part of the city. Her family lived in a small flat in the suburbs, far from the glamorous areas where people like this man probably spent their time. "Where are we going?" she asked, suddenly aware that she had put herself completely at the mercy of a stranger. "Somewhere safe." He glanced at her briefly, his expression softening slightly. "My name is Tristan Blackwell. I own a property development company here in London. I was at that church for a business associate's daughter's wedding." "I assumed that was you?" Simone shook her head. "No. Vincent's family knows a lot of people. It was a big wedding. They invited half of London, I think." "But you don't want to marry him?" "No." The word came out firm and clear. "I'd rather have nothing than spend my life afraid." Tristan nodded slowly as if he understood something deeper in her words. They drove in silence for a few more minutes before he spoke again. "I'm going to take you to my home. You'll be safe there while we figure out what to do next. I have good security and staff who are discreet. Vincent Crawford won't be able to find you." Simone felt tears prick her eyes again, but this time they were tears of relief. "Yes, please. Thank you. I don't have anywhere else to go." "You don't need to thank me." Tristan's voice was gentle but firm. No one should be forced into a marriage they don't want. They drove through the city, past tall buildings and busy streets full of people living their normal Saturday evening lives. Simone watched them through the window, feeling like she was in a dream. Just hours ago, she had been standing in that church bathroom, staring at herself in the mirror, trying to find the courage to go through with the wedding. Now she was in a stranger's car, driving toward an unknown future. "Can I ask you something?" Simone said quietly. "Of course. Why did you help me? You don't know me. You could have just closed the door and called Vincent." Tristan was quiet for a moment, his expression thoughtful. "Let's just say I have personal reasons for hating forced marriages. I've seen what they can do to people. When I saw you in my car, terrified and desperate, I knew I couldn't be part of your capture." Something in his tone told Simone there was a deeper story there, but she didn't press. He had helped her when he didn't have to. That was enough. The car pulled up to a tall building with a modern glass facade. A doorman in a green uniform immediately stepped forward, opening Tristan's door. "Good evening, Mr. Blackwell." "Good evening, Thomas. Please have the car taken care of." Tristan walked around to Simone's side, opening her door and offering his hand. She took it, grateful for the support as her legs felt shaky standing up. The doorman's eyes widened slightly at her appearance, the red bridesmaid dress wrinkled and slightly torn, her bare feet dirty from running, but he maintained his professional composure. "Thomas, this is Miss Simone Harris. She'll be staying with me for a while. Please inform Mrs. Chen to prepare the guest suite." "Of course, sir. Right away." They walked into the building's lobby, all marble and modern art. Simone felt completely out of place in her disheveled state, but Tristan's hand remained steady under her elbow, guiding her to the elevator. Inside the elevator, she finally asked, "Who is Mrs. Chen?" "My housekeeper. She's been with me for 10 years. She's kind and will help you with anything you need." The elevator rose smoothly, climbing higher and higher until it reached the top floor. When the doors opened, they stepped directly into a penthouse that took Simone's breath away. Floor-to-ceiling windows showed the entire London skyline. The furniture was modern and expensive, all clean lines and tasteful colors. A maroon velvet sofa sat in the living area, and she could see a kitchen that looked like something from a magazine. An older Asian woman with kind eyes and gray hair pulled into a neat bun appeared from a hallway. She wore a blue cardigan and had a warm smile. "Mr. Blackwell," Thomas called ahead. "I have the guest room ready." "Oh, you poor dear." Her attention shifted to Simone, and without hesitation, she crossed the room and took Simone's hands in hers. "You look like you've been through something terrible. Come with me. Let's get you comfortable. Mrs. Chen, this is Simone Harris. She'll be staying with us. She needs clothes, food, and safety." "Of course. I'll take care of everything." Mrs. Chen's grip on Simone's hands was firm and reassuring. "I have a daughter about your size. I'll bring some clothes for now and we can sort out proper shopping tomorrow." "Thank you," Simone said, her voice breaking slightly. "Thank you both so much." Mrs. Chen led her down a hallway to a bedroom that was larger than Simone's entire flat. A queen-sized bed with a blue comforter dominated the space, and another wall of windows showed the city lights twinkling in the distance. "The bathroom is through that door. I'll bring towels and clothes. Take a hot shower. You'll feel better." After Mrs. Chen left, Simone stood in the middle of the room, trying to process everything that had happened in the last few hours. She had run from her wedding. She had hidden in a billionaire's car. That billionaire had rescued her and brought her to his home. None of it felt real. But when she caught sight of herself in the mirror on the wall, reality crashed back. Her hair was a mess, her makeup smeared, the red dress torn at the hem. She looked like someone who had barely escaped disaster. Because that's exactly what she was. Mrs. Chen returned with an armful of towels and clothes. "Here you go, dear. The green sweater and jeans should fit. There are fresh slippers by the bed. Take your time in the shower. Mr. Blackwell is ordering dinner. Do you have any food allergies?" "No, I'll eat anything. Thank you." "Good. You look like you need a proper meal." After Mrs. Chen left again, Simone walked into the bathroom. It was all white marble and chrome, with a shower that had more settings than she knew what to do with. She turned on the water, letting it heat up while she carefully removed the red dress. Under the hot water, she finally allowed herself to cry. All the fear, all the stress, all the weight of her decision poured out. She scrubbed her skin until it was pink, washing away the remnants of the day she had almost become someone's unwilling wife. When she emerged, wrapped in a soft towel, she found the green sweater and jeans laid out on the bed along with underclothes still in packages. Mrs. Chen had thought of everything. The clothes fit well enough. The sweater was soft and comfortable, the jeans a bit loose but manageable. She towel-dried her hair and looked at herself in the mirror again. This version of herself looked different. Still scared, still uncertain, but also free. There was a soft knock on the door. "Come in," Simone called. Tristan entered, now changed from his suit into more casual clothes, dark pants and a white shirt. He carried a tray with tea and biscuits. Mrs. Chen thought you might like this while we wait for dinner. How are you feeling? Better. Cleaner. Simone sat on the edge of the bed, accepting the tea gratefully. I still can't believe this is happening. A few hours ago, I was in a church bathroom planning my escape. Now I'm in a penthouse drinking tea. Life can change quickly. Tristan sat in the chair by the window, giving her space. We need to talk about what happens next. Vincent will be looking for you. Your family will be worried. The mention of her family made Simone's heart ache. They're going to be so angry with me. They needed that money. Vincent's family was going to pay off all our debts. How much do they owe? Simone told him the amount, and she saw something flicker in his expression. It wasn't pity exactly. More like understanding. I'll take care of it, he said simply. What? No, I couldn't ask you to do that. You're not asking. I'm offering. His voice was firm but kind. Your family shouldn't suffer because you refuse to marry a man who would hurt you. I'll settle their debts. Consider it done. Simone opened her mouth to protest but stopped. The user's instructions were clear. She should accept help with gratitude. Thank you, she said softly. I don't know how I'll ever repay you. You don't need to repay me. Just focus on building the life you want. That's payment enough. A timer beeped from the kitchen and Mrs. Chen's voice called out, "Dinner's ready." They moved to the dining area, where Mrs. Chen had set out a simple but delicious meal. Roasted chicken, vegetables, fresh bread. Simone realized she hadn't eaten since breakfast and she was starving. As they ate, Tristan explained his plan. Tomorrow, I'll have my lawyers draw up papers to break the engagement contract. I'll also make it clear to the Crawfords that you're under my protection. They'll back off. Why would they listen to you? Tristan's smile was slightly grim. Because I'm Tristan Blackwell. In London's business world, that name carries weight. They won't want me as an enemy. Are you dangerous? The question slipped out before Simone could stop it. Not to people who don't deserve it. But I have a reputation for being ruthless in business. It's a reputation I've earned. People respect it or they fear it. Either way, they listen. After dinner, Mrs. Chen showed Simone how to work the entertainment system in her room and brought her some books from the penthouse library. Tristan said goodnight, reminding her that she was safe and could call for anything she needed. Alone in the luxurious guest room, Simone climbed into the soft bed and stared at the ceiling. She thought about Vincent, probably still searching for her. She thought about her parents, discovering their daughter had fled. She thought about the life she had almost been trapped in. And she thought about Tristan Blackwell, the stranger who had become her protector in one unexpected moment. As she drifted off to sleep for the first time in weeks, she felt safe. Morning sunlight streaming through the floor-to-ceiling windows woke Simone. For a moment she forgot where she was. The soft sheets, the expensive bed, the view of London spreading out before her, all felt like a dream. Then reality returned. She had escaped her wedding. She was in Tristan Blackwell's guest room. Her life had changed completely in less than 24 hours. There was a soft knock on the door and Mrs. Chen entered with a tray. Good morning, dear. I brought you breakfast. Mr. Blackwell is already in his office, but he asked me to check on you. The tray held fresh fruit, toast, eggs, and coffee that smelled wonderful. Simone's stomach growled loudly, making Mrs. Chen smile. Thank you. This looks amazing. Eat up. You need your strength. After breakfast we're going shopping. Mr. Blackwell left his credit card and instructions to get you everything you need. Simone felt uncomfortable accepting more help, but she remembered the instructions. Accept with gratitude. That's very kind of him. I promise I'll pay him back somehow. Mrs. Chen waved a hand dismissively. Mr. Blackwell doesn't do anything he doesn't want to do. If he wants to help you, let him. He has his reasons. After breakfast, Simone dressed in the same green sweater and jeans from the night before. Mrs. Chen appeared with a blue jacket that would keep her warm in the morning air. They took a car to a shopping district Simone had only seen in magazines. The stores were the kind where you needed an appointment just to browse. But Mrs. Chen walked in confidently, and soon Simone was being measured and fitted for clothes. Pick what you like, dear, Mrs. Chen encouraged. Don't worry about the price. Mr. Blackwell's instructions were clear. Get whatever you need. Simone chose carefully, not wanting to take advantage of Tristan's generosity. Simple dresses, jeans, comfortable shirts. But Mrs. Chen kept adding things to the pile. A beautiful maroon dress for special occasions. A warm red coat. Blue sweaters that brought out her eyes. You deserve nice things, Mrs. Chen said firmly when Simone protested. Stop thinking about the cost and start thinking about what makes you happy. It was strange advice, but Simone tried to follow it. For years, her life had been about sacrifice, helping her family, putting others first. Now someone was telling her to think about herself. They returned to the penthouse with several bags. Mrs. Chin helped her organize everything in the large closet in the guest room. As they worked, Mrs. Chin talked about her life, how she had worked for Tristan for 10 years, how he was demanding but fair. "He's not actually dangerous, you know," Mrs. Chin said, hanging up a dress. "He just wants people to think he is. It protects him. But I've seen his kind heart. He'll do anything for people he cares about." "Why does he need protection?" Simone asked. Mrs. Chen's expression grew sad. "That's his story to tell, not mine. But I will say this. He understands what it's like to feel trapped. He won't let that happen to you." In the afternoon, Tristan returned from his office. He wore another expensive suit, this one dark gray that made his eyes look even more intense. He found Simone in the living room looking at the books on his shelves. "How was shopping?" he asked, loosening his tie. "Mrs. Chin spent a fortune. I feel guilty." "Don't. You needed clothes. Now you have them. It's not complicated." He poured himself a glass of water from the kitchen. "My lawyers are preparing the documents to break your engagement. They'll be ready tomorrow. I've also had my team look into Vincent Crawford. What they found isn't pleasant." Simone's stomach tightened. "What did they find?" "He has a history of aggression. 2 previous relationships ended badly. One woman filed a restraining order. His family paid her off to drop it. You made the right choice running from him." The confirmation of her instincts should have felt good, but instead, it just made her feel sick. "My parents didn't know. They couldn't have known." "I don't think they did. Vincent's family is good at hiding their son's problems. But now we have documentation. If Vincent tries to come after you, we have evidence of why you left. Thank you for doing this. For all of this." Simone gestured around the penthouse. "I don't understand why you're helping me, but I'm grateful." Tristan set down his glass and looked at her directly. 5 years ago, my younger sister Claire was in a situation similar to yours. A man our family knew, someone we thought was respectable, turned out to be controlling and abusive. She tried to tell us, but we didn't see it. We thought she was exaggerating." His expression darkened with old anger and regret. He hurt her. Badly. By the time we realized the truth, she had endured months of abuse. We got her out, but the damage was done. It took her years to recover. She's doing well now, but I will never forgive myself for not believing her sooner. "That's terrible," Simone whispered. "When I saw you in my car last night, terrified and desperate, I saw my sister. I saw a second chance to do the right thing. To believe a woman when she says she's in danger. To act before it's too late." Understanding washed over Simone. This wasn't charity. This was atonement. This was Tristan trying to save someone else's sister because he couldn't save his own in time. "Your sister is lucky to have you. I'm lucky to have her. She teaches art now to kids who have been through difficult situations. She turned her pain into something beautiful. That's real strength." They talked for hours. Tristan told her about his business, how he had built his company from nothing through hard work and smart investments. He talked about London, the city he loved. He talked about his reputation as being dangerous, how it started because he refused to compromise in business deals and expanded because it was useful. "People fear what they don't understand," he said. "I'm not actually ruthless. I just don't waste time on people who waste mine. But the reputation keeps away the ones who would try to take advantage." Simone found herself relaxing around him. His directness was refreshing. He didn't play games or hide behind polite lies. He said what he meant and meant what he said. Over the next few days, a routine developed. Tristan would work in his home office while Simone explored the penthouse and read from his extensive library. Mrs. Chin cooked meals and shared stories about her family. In the evenings, Tristan and Simone would have dinner together, talking about everything and nothing. Simone learned that Tristan loved classic films, that he had a terrible habit of working too late, that he took his coffee black and strong. Tristan learned that Simone had always dreamed of going to university but couldn't afford it, that she loved mysteries and detective stories, that she had a talent for organization and planning. On the 4th day, Tristan's lawyers arrived with the paperwork. They sat around the dining table and the lead lawyer, a serious woman in a red suit, explained everything. "These documents officially end your engagement to Vincent Crawford. We've also prepared a restraining order if you want to file one. Given Mr. Crawford's history and Mr. Blackwell's testimony about your fear, a judge would likely approve it." "Yes," Simone said without hesitation. "I want the restraining order." "Good. I'll file it today." We've also prepared documents regarding your family's debts. Mr. Blackwell has agreed to settle them in full. Simone looked at Tristan, who simply nodded. It's done. Your family is free of that burden. But they don't know about you. They don't know where I am. We can contact them if you want, Tristan said gently. But maybe wait a few more days. Let things settle. Let Vincent accept that you're not coming back. Simone agreed, though her heart ached thinking about her parents. They must be so confused and angry. But Tristan was right. They needed time. That evening, Tristan suggested they watch a movie. They settled on the maroon sofa in the living room, a classic detective film on the large screen. Somewhere during the second act, Simone dozed off, exhausted from the emotional week. She woke up later to find a blanket draped over her and Tristan gone. A note sat on the coffee table in his neat handwriting. You fell asleep. Didn't want to wake you. Sleep well. Tomorrow we start planning your future. Simone folded the note carefully and carried it to her room. As she climbed into bed, she realized something had shifted. She no longer felt like a refugee hiding from danger. She felt like someone building something new. And for the first time in years, that future looked bright. A week after her escape, Simone woke to find a laptop on the kitchen counter with another note from Tristan. For job searching and university research. Password is your birthday. I had Mrs. Chin sneak it out of you. The thoughtfulness of the gesture made her smile. She opened the laptop, a sleek silver model that was obviously brand new, and started browsing. The possibilities felt endless in a way they never had before. Tristan emerged from his office around midday looking tired. His white shirt was wrinkled and he had dark circles under his eyes. Have you been working all night? Simone asked, concerned. Big deal closing. It's done now. He poured coffee and sat across from her at the kitchen island. Found any interesting programs? Several. But they're expensive. I'll need to work first, save money. Apply anyway. We'll figure out the finances. Before Simone could respond, his phone rang. He looked at the screen and frowned. It's my sister. I should take this. He answered, and Simone watched his expression change from tired to alert to warm. Claire, slow down. What's wrong? Pause. No, I'm not too busy. I'm never too busy for you. Come over. I'll make lunch. He hung up and looked at Simone. My sister is having a rough day. She's coming over. I hope that's okay. I'd like you to meet her. Of course. Should I give you privacy? No. Stay. I think you two would understand each other. An hour later, the elevator opened and a woman in her late 20s stepped out. She had Tristan's dark hair but softer features, and she wore a blue dress with paint stains on the sleeves. Her eyes were red from crying. Tris, she said, and Tristan immediately pulled her into a hug. I'm here. Whatever it is, we'll handle it. After a moment, Claire pulled back and noticed Simone. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you had company. Claire, this is Simone Harris. She's staying with me for a while. Simone, my sister Claire. Claire's eyes widened slightly with understanding. You're the woman who ran from her wedding. Thomas told me. He tells me everything. She crossed to Simone and took her hands. I'm so glad you got out. The simple statement, delivered with such sincerity, made Simone's throat tight. Thank you. Your brother has been very kind. He's the best person I know, even if he tries to hide it behind that scary businessman act. Claire squeezed Simone's hands and then let go. I'm sorry for barging in like this. I'm having one of those days where the past feels too close. Sit, Tristan said gently. Tell me what happened. As Tristan made sandwiches, Claire explained. She had run into her ex at an art supply store. The man who had hurt her years ago. He had tried to talk to her to apologize and she had frozen. I thought I was past this, Claire said, her voice breaking. I thought I was strong enough now. You are strong, Tristan said firmly. Strength doesn't mean you never feel afraid. It means you keep going even when you do. Your brother is right, Simone added softly. I've spent the last week beating myself up for being scared. But being scared doesn't make us weak. It makes us human. Claire looked at her with grateful eyes. How long ago did you leave? A week. I still feel like I'm waiting for something bad to happen. That feeling fades. It takes time, but it fades. Claire accepted a sandwich from Tristan. Did he hurt you? Your fiancé? Once? But once was enough to know there would be more. Good for you for recognizing it early. I didn't. I kept making excuses for him until I couldn't anymore. The three of them talked through lunch and into the afternoon. Claire shared her journey of recovery, the therapy, the art classes that helped her heal. Simone talked about her family, her fears about the future, her dreams that had been pushed aside for so long. Tristan mostly listened, interjecting occasionally with support or a dry comment that made them both laugh. Watching him with his sister, Simone saw a different side of him. The fierce protectiveness, yes, but also deep love and gentleness. Before Claire left, she hugged Simone tightly. "Come to my art studio sometime. I'll teach you to paint. It's surprisingly therapeutic." "I'd like that." After Claire was gone, Simone helped Tristan clean up the lunch dishes. "Your sister is wonderful." "She is. What she went through, what she survived, it changed her. But she didn't let it break her." He dried a plate thoughtfully. "She told me once that the worst part wasn't the physical hurt. It was losing trust in her own judgment. Wondering if she could ever believe in her choices again." "I understand that. I keep thinking about the warning signs I ignored with Vincent. The small comments that should have been red flags. That's not your fault. People like Vincent are good at hiding who they really are. They show you what you want to see until it's too late." They worked in comfortable silence for a few minutes before Tristan spoke again. "I have a business dinner tomorrow night. Important clients. I usually skip these things, but this one matters for a deal I'm closing. Would you come with me?" "You don't have to, but I'd appreciate the company." Simone's first instinct was to refuse. She didn't belong at fancy business dinners. But then she remembered the instructions. "Accept help and opportunities with gratitude." "I'd love to, but I've never been to anything like that. What do I wear? What do I say?" "Wear that maroon dress Mrs. Chin bought you. As for what to say, just be yourself. These people are boring anyway. You'll probably be the most interesting person there." The next evening, Simone stood in front of the mirror in her room, adjusting the maroon dress. It fit perfectly, elegant but not too formal. Mrs. Chin had helped with her hair and makeup. Nothing too dramatic, just enough to make her feel confident. Tristan knocked and entered, stopping short when he saw her. "You look beautiful." "Thank you. You clean up pretty well yourself." He wore a black suit that must have cost a fortune, and he had styled his hair back. He looked like he had stepped out of a magazine. Together they looked like they belonged in the world of wealth and power. The dinner was at an exclusive restaurant in Mayfair. A private room had been reserved, and when they arrived, several people were already there. Tristan introduced Simone simply as his guest, and she was grateful he didn't elaborate. The clients were exactly as Tristan had described. Polite but boring, more interested in talking about stock prices than anything meaningful. Simone smiled and made small talk, feeling out of place but determined not to show it. Halfway through dinner, one of the client's wives, a kind woman named Patricia with gray hair, started talking to Simone about her charity work. "We support a women's shelter in East London. Many of the women there have fled domestic situations. It's heartbreaking but also inspiring to see their resilience." "That sounds like important work," Simone said sincerely. "It is. We're always looking for volunteers. The women need support, guidance, people who understand what they've been through." Something clicked in Simone's mind. "I'd like to help. If you need volunteers, I have time and I think I could relate to what those women are going through." Patricia's face lit up. "Really? That would be wonderful. Here, take my card. Call me next week and I'll introduce you to the shelter director." Tristan, who had been listening to the conversation while pretending to focus on business talk, caught her eye and smiled. It was a small smile, but it held pride and approval. After dinner, as they drove home, Tristan said, "You were great tonight. Patricia has been trying to get me to volunteer at that shelter for years. I write checks, but she wants actual involvement. She'll be thrilled you're interested." "I am interested. I kept thinking about what Claire said about turning pain into something beautiful. Maybe I can help other women who are where I was a week ago." "You absolutely can. And I think it will help you too. Helping others often helps us heal ourselves." They arrived back at the penthouse, and Mrs. Chen had left tea and cookies in the kitchen before going home for the night. They sat in the living room, tea in hand, still in their formal clothes. "Thank you for taking me tonight," Simone said. "I know you didn't have to. I wanted to. You're easy to be around. You don't treat me like Tristan Blackwell, the feared CEO. You just treat me like a person. That's all you are. A person who happens to be very successful and kind. Most people don't see the kind part. They just see the success and assume the worst. Their loss." Simone set down her teacup. "Can I ask you something personal?" "Always. Do you ever get lonely? In this big penthouse with all your success, do you ever wish for something simpler?" Tristan was quiet for a long moment. "Yes, often. Success is nice, but it can be isolating. People want things from you. They see opportunities, not a person. It's rare to find someone who doesn't want anything except your company. I want your company, Simone said softly. Not your money, not your connections. Just you. The air between them shifted, becoming charged with something neither of them had acknowledged until that moment. Tristan looked at her, really looked at her, and Simone felt her breath catch. Simone, he started, but she interrupted. I know this is complicated. I know I'm in a vulnerable place. But I also know that I enjoy every moment I spend with you. I wake up looking forward to our conversations. I go to sleep thinking about the things you said. This isn't gratitude talking. This is me genuinely caring about you. I care about you too. More than I probably should, given the circumstances. He stood and moved to the window looking out at the city. But you're right about one thing. This is complicated. You've just escaped one situation. I don't want you to feel pressured into another. Simone stood and walked to him. What if this isn't pressure? What if this is just two people who found each other at the right time? Tristan turned to face her. The look in his eyes was intense, full of feelings he was clearly trying to control. Give it time. Get settled in your new life. Figure out who you are outside of your family's expectations and Vincent's control. If you still feel this way in a month, 2 months, we'll talk about it. It was sensible. It was mature. It was exactly what Simone should want. But part of her wanted to argue, to say that she knew her own heart. Instead she nodded. Okay, Tom. I can do that. Good. His hand reached up, almost touching her cheek before he pulled it back. It's late. We should get some sleep. They said goodnight and Simone went to her room. But sleep didn't come easily. She lay in bed, thinking about the look in Tristan's eyes, the almost touch of his hand, the possibility of something more. Outside her window, London sparkled with lights. Somewhere out there, Vincent was hopefully accepting her absence. Somewhere out there, her parents were dealing with their disappointment. Somewhere out there, a future was waiting to be built. And for the first time in her life, Simone felt like that future was truly hers to shape. 2 weeks after Simone's escape, Vincent Crawford sat in his family's study, fury radiating from every line of his body. The wedding had been cancelled. The guests had gone home. The deposits were lost. But worse than all of that, his prize had slipped through his fingers. His father, Gerald Crawford, paced the room equally angry. How did you let her get away? The church was surrounded. Every exit was covered. She hid, Vincent said through gritted teeth. Someone must have helped her. She didn't have a car, didn't have money. Someone took her. Who? I don't know yet. But I'll find out. And when I do, they'll regret interfering. Gerald stopped pacing. We paid that family's debts. We invested money in that marriage. Now we look like fools. I'll get her back. Vincent's hands clenched into fists. She belongs to me. She signed papers. Papers that are being contested. My lawyer called today. Some firm in the city is representing her, claiming the engagement was made under duress. Duress? She agreed. Her family agreed. Apparently she's claiming you were abusive. That you hurt her. Vincent waved a dismissive hand. I grabbed her wrist once. She was being dramatic. That's not what her lawyers are saying. They have medical photos. They have witness statements. They're building a case. For the first time, Vincent felt a flicker of concern. Medical photos? From what? From the night you grabbed her. Apparently it left bruises. She documented them. Vincent stood abruptly. This is ridiculous. I'll talk to her. I'll explain. She'll understand. You can't talk to her. She's disappeared. No one knows where she is. Her family doesn't know. Her friends don't know. She's vanished. People don't just vanish in London. She's somewhere. With someone. Gerald pulled out his phone and showed Vincent a document. This arrived today. A restraining order. You're not allowed within 500 meters of Simone Harris. If you violate it, you'll be arrested. Vincent read the document, his anger building with each word. The restraining order was filed through a law firm he recognized. Blackwell and Associates. That name meant something. Blackwell. Tristan Blackwell. I know who has her, Vincent said slowly. Tristan Blackwell. The property developer. His firm is representing her. Blackwell? Gerald's expression changed. You need to be careful with him. He's dangerous. His company controls half the commercial real estate in London. If he's protecting her, you need to walk away. Walk away. She's mine. She was going to be yours. Now she's someone else's problem. Let it go, Vincent. Find another wife. There are plenty of women who would be grateful for our family's money. But Vincent couldn't let it go. Simone was supposed to be his. He had chosen her, molded her family's desperation into an opportunity. She owed him. She owed his family. He started making calls, hiring private investigators, asking questions. Within days he had a rough picture. Simone had been seen entering Tristan Blackwell's building. She hadn't been seen leaving. She was living there. Living with him. The thought made Vincent's blood boil. She had left him for another man. A richer man. A more powerful man. She was probably laughing at him right now, enjoying her upgrade. He stood outside Blackwell's building one evening watching the windows. Somewhere up there, Simone was comfortable and safe, thinking she had escaped. But Vincent was patient. He would wait for the right moment. He would remind her that she had made promises, signed papers, accepted money. She would learn that running had consequences. Meanwhile, in the penthouse high above, Simone was unaware of Vincent's surveillance. She had started volunteering at the women's shelter Patricia had told her about. 3 days a week, she went to East London and worked with women who were rebuilding their lives after leaving abusive situations. The work was hard emotionally, but it was also healing. Listening to other women's stories made her realize she wasn't alone. Helping them plan their futures helped her plan her own. She had also applied to 3 university programs: business management, social work, and psychology. She wasn't sure which path she wanted yet, but she was exploring options. The applications asked for financial information, and each time, Simone felt uncomfortable. She knew Tristan had offered to help, but accepting money for education felt different than accepting clothes or temporary housing. One evening she brought it up over dinner. Tristan was working on his laptop at the table, something he did constantly, and Simone was reading applications on her new computer. The university applications ask about funding, she said. I don't have any savings. I don't have any income. I can't put your name down as a sponsor without feeling like I'm taking advantage. Tristan looked up from his screen. You're not taking advantage. I offered. But it's a lot of money. Years of tuition, books, living expenses. I spend more on art pieces I never look at. Education is actually useful. Let me help. Why are you doing all this? You already saved me from Vincent. You've given me a place to live. You settled my family's debts. Why do more? Tristan closed his laptop and gave her his full attention. Because I can. Because I want to. Because watching you discover yourself and chase your dreams is more satisfying than any business deal I've ever closed. The intensity in his voice made Simone's heart race. They had been circling around their feelings for 2 weeks, both aware of the attraction but respecting the time Tristan had suggested they take. Tristan, she started, but her phone rang. It was an unknown number. She answered hesitantly. Hello? Simone. Her mother's voice, tight with anger. Where are you? Simone's hand shook. Mom. I'm safe. I'm okay. Safe? Okay. You ran from your wedding. You humiliated us. The Crawfords are threatening to sue us for the money they spent. They can't. The debts were paid. You're not obligated to them anymore. There was a long pause. How do you know that? What have you done? Someone helped me. Someone who understood why I couldn't marry Vincent. Oh, who is this person? Simone looked at Tristan, who nodded encouragingly. His name is Tristan Blackwell. He's helping me get back on my feet. Another pause, longer this time. Tristan Blackwell, the billionaire? Simone, what have you gotten yourself into? It's not what you think. He's kind. He's helping me because he believes I deserve better than Vincent. Vincent is a good man. His family is respectable. Vincent hurt me, Mom. He grabbed me hard enough to leave bruises. That's why I ran. I was scared. She heard her mother's sharp intake of breath. He hurt you. Yes. I tried to tell you before the wedding, but you thought I was nervous. I wasn't nervous. I was terrified. Why didn't you tell us it was that bad? I tried. You and Dad were so focused on the money, on solving the debt problem, that you didn't hear me. Her mother was crying now. We didn't know. We would never have pushed you if we knew. I know, Mom. I know you thought you were doing the right thing. But I couldn't go through with it. I had to run. Where are you now? I'm safe. I'm with Tristan. He's taking care of me. We want to see you. Your father needs to meet this man who's taken responsibility for you. Simone looked at Tristan again, who nodded. Okay. We can arrange something. But Mom, you need to understand. I'm not coming back to marry Vincent. That's over. The engagement is broken. The restraining order is filed. It's done. If he hurt you, then good. You were right to leave. But we still need to meet this Blackwell man. We need to know our daughter is safe. After a few more minutes of conversation, they agreed to meet for lunch the following weekend. When Simone hung up, she felt drained. "That was harder than I thought it would be," she admitted. "You did well. You stood your ground. You told your truth. They want to meet you. I assumed they would. I'll make sure they understand my intentions are honorable." "What are your intentions?" The question slipped out before Simone could stop it. Tristan stood and walked to her side of the table. He crouched down so they were eye level. "My intentions are to give you space and time to heal. To support you in building the life you want. To be your friend, your protector, and maybe, if you'll let me, something more when you're ready. I think I'm ready now. Give it time. Please. I want you to be sure. I want you to choose me because you want me, not because I'm a safe haven from a storm." He was right, and Simone knew it. But that didn't make the waiting any easier. That night she couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about Vincent, about how he had probably heard by now that she was with Tristan. She kept thinking about the anger in his eyes when she had told him she wanted to postpone the wedding. Around midnight she got up for water. As she passed the living room windows, something caught her eye. A car parked across the street, someone sitting inside. In the streetlight she could just make out a figure watching the building. Her blood ran cold. She went to Tristan's room and knocked softly. He answered immediately, alert despite the late hour. "What's wrong?" "There's someone watching the building. A car across the street." Tristan was instantly focused. He went to the window and looked down. His jaw tightened. "I see it. Stay here." He pulled out his phone and made a call. "James, it's Tristan. There's a car outside my building. Black sedan, license plate." He read off the number. "I need you to check it out." James was apparently his head of security. Within minutes, Tristan's phone rang again. He listened, his expression growing darker. "Thank you. Keep someone on it." He hung up and looked at Simone. "It's Vincent Crawford. He's been watching the building for the past 3 days." Simone felt like she couldn't breathe. "He knows where I am. He knows where I live. He doesn't know which floor or unit. The building has security. He can't get in. But he's out there. Watching." Tristan pulled her into a hug, the first time he had really touched her beyond a helping hand. "I won't let him hurt you. I promise." Simone clung to him, feeling safe despite the fear. "What do we do?" "Tomorrow we increase security. I'll have my team document his surveillance. If he violates the restraining order, we'll have him arrested. But tonight you're safe. He can't touch you here." They stood there for a long moment, Simone wrapped in Tristan's arms, both of them looking out at the city that held danger and promise in equal measure. "I'm not letting you go," Tristan said softly. "Not to him. Not to anyone. You're under my protection and I don't break my promises." "I know." Simone looked up at him. "I trust you." And she did. Completely. Whatever happened next, she knew Tristan would keep her safe. The next morning, Tristan's security team was already in place. Cameras were monitoring the street. Guards were stationed at all entrances. When Simone expressed concern about the cost, Tristan just shook his head. "Your safety is worth more than money." Vincent's car disappeared by midday, but the security remained. Tristan wasn't taking chances. That weekend, they met Simone's parents at a quiet restaurant in North London. Her father, Thomas Harris, was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes. Her mother, Joyce, looked older than Simone remembered, worn down by stress and worry. The introduction was tense. Thomas looked at Tristan with suspicion, clearly trying to understand why a billionaire would help his daughter. Joyce kept glancing between Simone and Tristan, searching for something in their interaction. "Mr. and Mrs. Harris," Tristan said formally, shaking their hands. "Thank you for agreeing to meet with me. We want to know our daughter is safe," Thomas said bluntly. "We want to understand what's happening." They sat, and for a moment no one spoke. Then Simone reached across the table and took her parents' hands. "I'm sorry for running. I'm sorry for the embarrassment. But I couldn't marry Vincent. He hurt me and I was afraid he would hurt me worse." Joyce's eyes filled with tears. "We didn't know, baby. We truly didn't know." "I know. You were trying to help. The debt was crushing us." The Crawford seemed like an answer. "But we should have listened," Thomas said, his voice rough with emotion. "When you came to us with concerns, we dismissed them. We failed you. You didn't fail me. You did what you thought was best. But Vincent wasn't a good man. Mr. Blackwell helped me see that clearly." All eyes turned to Tristan, who met their gaze steadily. "I found Simone hiding in my car the night of the wedding. She was terrified. I've seen that kind of fear before in my own sister. I couldn't ignore it." "So you took her in?" Thomas asked. Just like that? Yes. And before you ask, my intentions are completely honorable. Simone is living in my guest room. My housekeeper, Mrs. Chen, is there daily. Simone is free to come and go as she pleases. I'm simply providing a safe place while she gets back on her feet. He also paid off your debts, Simone added. You're free from what the Crawfords were holding over you. Thomas and Joyce exchanged shocked looks. You did what? Joyce asked. I settled the debt. It seemed like the right thing to do. Simone shouldn't have been forced into marriage because of financial problems. Tristan's tone made it clear this wasn't up for negotiation. That must have been a lot of money, Thomas said slowly. It was manageable. I'm fortunate to be in a position to help. Why? Joyce asked the question they were all thinking. Why would you do all this for a stranger? Tristan was quiet for a moment, and Simone saw him choose his words carefully. Because 5 years ago I didn't help someone who needed it. My sister was in a situation similar to Simone's, and I didn't see it soon enough. She suffered because I was blind. I won't make that mistake again. The honesty in his answer seemed to satisfy Joyce. Thomas still looked suspicious but less hostile. What are your intentions with our daughter? Thomas asked directly. Long term. What's your plan? My plan is to support her in building the life she wants. She's applied to universities. She's volunteering at a women's shelter. She's figuring out who she is outside of other people's expectations. When she's ready, when she's stable, if she chooses to, we might explore something more. But that's her choice, not mine. Something more, Joyce repeated. You have feelings for her. Tristan didn't hesitate. Yes, I do. But I respect her too much to push. She's been through trauma. She needs time to heal. Simone felt her cheeks warm. They had skirted around their feelings in private, but hearing Tristan state them so plainly to her parents made them real. And you? Thomas asked Simone. How do you feel? I care about him. He's been nothing but kind and respectful. But he's right. I need time. I need to figure out who I am before I can figure out who I want to be with. The conversation shifted to safer topics. They talked about Simone's volunteer work, her university applications. Tristan talked about his business in ways that made it understandable, not intimidating. By the end of lunch, the tension had eased. Before they left, Joyce pulled Simone aside. He's a good man. I can see that. But be careful with your heart, baby. You've been through so much. I know, Mom. I'm being careful. But I also think he might be worth the risk. Joyce hugged her tightly. You look happy. Really happy. I haven't seen you smile like this in years. I'm happy. For the first time in a long time, I'm happy. That evening, back at the penthouse, Simone found Tristan on the balcony. The early autumn air was cool and he had wrapped himself in a green jacket. She joined him and they stood looking at the city lights together. Thank you for being honest with my parents, she said. I wasn't going to lie to them. They deserve to know the truth. You told them you have feelings for me. I do. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Simone turned to face him. Can I tell you something? Always. When I was in that church bathroom getting ready to walk down the aisle, I prayed for a miracle. I prayed for something, anything to happen that would save me. And then I ran and I found your car and you saved me. But it wasn't just about getting away from Vincent. It was about finding you. Tristan's expression softened. Simone. I know we're taking things slow. I know I need time. But I also know that what I feel for you isn't gratitude. It's not hero worship. It's real. It's me seeing you and liking what I see. It's me wanting to know everything about you. It's me thinking about you first thing in the morning and last thing at night. I feel the same way. But I meant what I said to your parents. I want you to be sure. I want you to choose me because you want me, not because I'm safe. Can't you be both? Can't you be the person I want and the person who makes me feel safe? Tristan reached out and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, his hand lingering near her face. I want to kiss you right now. But I won't. Not yet. Not until you're completely sure. What if I'm sure now? Then prove it. Build your life. Chase your dreams. If in 3 months you still want this, still want me, I'll be here. And I'll give you everything I have. It was the hardest thing Simone had ever done, but she nodded. 3 months. I can do that. Good. His hand dropped and the loss of his touch felt physical. Now come inside. Mrs. Chen made her famous stew and it's getting cold. They went inside and the evening continued normally. But something had shifted. They both knew where they were heading. They both knew that in 3 months, everything would change. The next day, Simone received acceptance letters from 2 of the universities she had applied to. She chose the social work program feeling like it was the right fit for her goals of helping others. Tristan arranged everything. Tuition paid, books ordered, a new laptop for classes. When Simone tried to keep track of expenses to pay him back someday, he refused. This isn't a loan. It's an investment. You're going to help a lot of people with that degree. Let me be part of making that happen. Classes started in 2 weeks. In the meantime, Simone continued her volunteer work at the shelter. She met women of all ages, all backgrounds, all united by the shared experience of leaving difficult situations. One afternoon, she was sitting with a young woman named Rachel who had just left her husband. Rachel was scared, uncertain, convinced she had made a mistake. What if I can't make it on my own? Rachel asked. What if I need him? Simone took her hand. You don't need him. You need safety. You need peace. You need the chance to be yourself. Those things you can find on your own. And you won't be alone. There are people who want to help. Like you. Yes, like me. And the people at this shelter. And anyone else who understands that leaving takes more courage than staying. Rachel squeezed her hand. How did you do it? How did you leave? I got scared enough that fear of staying was worse than fear of leaving. And then I got lucky. Someone helped me at the right moment. Now I'm trying to pay that forward. After Rachel left, Patricia approached Simone. You're good at this. Have you thought about making it a career? I'm starting a social work degree in 2 weeks. Perfect. When you graduate, come talk to me. We need people like you here full-time. The offer made Simone's heart swell. A future. A purpose. A career helping people. It was more than she had dared to dream just months ago. That night, she told Tristan about the offer. They were sitting in the living room, him with business reports, her with a book from his library. That's wonderful, he said genuinely. You'll be brilliant at it. I can't believe how much my life has changed. A month ago, I was about to marry someone I was afraid of. Now I'm starting university, volunteering at a shelter, and thinking about a career I love. You did this. I just provided some support. You provided more than support. You provided hope. You showed me that kindness exists, that people can help without expecting anything in return. I expect something, Tristan said quietly. Simone looked up. What? I expect you to be happy. I expect you to build the life you deserve. I expect you to remember that you're strong and capable and worthy of good things. He closed his laptop and looked at her directly. And selfishly, I expect that at the end of your 3-month deadline, you'll still want to give us a chance. I will, Simone said with certainty. I already know I will. But I'll give you the 3 months anyway. To prove to both of us that this is real. 2 months and 3 weeks now, Tristan said with a slight smile. But who's counting? You are, apparently. Every day. The admission hung in the air between them, full of promise and patience. They were walking toward each other slowly, carefully, making sure the foundation was solid before they built something permanent. And for Simone, that patience felt like the greatest gift of all. As October settled over London, Simone's new life took shape. University classes were challenging but fulfilling. She discovered she had a natural talent for understanding people's motivations and struggles. Her professors praised her insight, and her classmates often asked for her perspective on difficult case studies. 3 days a week, she still volunteered at the shelter. The work was draining but meaningful. Every woman she helped felt like a step toward healing her own wounds. Patricia had become a mentor, teaching her the practical side of social work that textbooks didn't cover. And through it all, Tristan was a constant presence. Not hovering, not controlling, just there. He asked about her classes, celebrated her successes, listened when she needed to process difficult cases from the shelter. Their relationship deepened in small, significant ways. Morning coffee together before he left for his office. Dinner conversations that stretched for hours. Weekend walks through London parks, always with security nearby but distant enough to give them privacy. They learned each other's rhythms. Simone discovered that Tristan worked best late at night, his mind sharpest after midnight. Tristan learned that Simone needed quiet mornings to prepare for busy days. They found compromises, small adjustments that made sharing space easy. One Saturday afternoon, Tristan suggested they visit his sister Claire's art studio. The studio was in a converted warehouse in East London, full of light and color. Claire's paintings covered the walls, bold and emotional. Simone, Claire greeted them with a hug. I'm so glad you came. I want to show you something. She led them to a corner where a series of paintings hung. They were all of women, different ages and backgrounds, but all sharing the same expression of strength mixed with vulnerability. This is my Survivor series, Claire explained. I paint women who have been through difficult times but came out stronger. I'd like to paint you if you're willing. Simone was touched. You'd want to paint me? Absolutely. You have this quality, this light in your eyes that wasn't there when I first met you. That's the transformation I try to capture. I'd be honored. They scheduled sessions for the painting, and Claire set Simone up with an easel and supplies. While I paint you, you paint too. Trust me, it's therapeutic. So began a new routine. Twice a month, Simone spent afternoons at Claire's studio. Claire would paint while Simone experimented with colors and shapes, talking about everything and nothing. During one session, Claire asked, "How much longer on your 3-month deadline?" 6 weeks. Why? Because my brother is counting down the days like a kid waiting for Christmas. He's completely in love with you, you know? Simone's hand stilled on the canvas. He told you that? He didn't have to. I can see it. The way he talks about you, the way his whole face changes when you enter a room. I've never seen him like this with anyone. I feel the same way about him. Then why wait? Why not just tell him now? Because he asked me to wait. Because he wants me to be sure. And because I think the waiting is important. We're building something solid. Rushing it might weaken the foundation. Claire smiled. You're good for him. You make him remember that life isn't just about business deals and reputation. You make him happy. That evening, Tristan took Simone to the London Eye. They had a private capsule, just the two of them and the security guard who maintained a discreet distance. As the wheel lifted them above the city, Simone pressed close to the window, taking in the view. This is beautiful, she breathed. Tristan stood behind her, close but not touching. I've been coming here since I was a kid. My father used to bring Claire and me when we needed to remember how big the world is, how many possibilities exist. Your father sounds like he was wise. He was. He died when I was 25, just as I was starting the company. He never got to see what I built, but I hope he'd be proud. Simone turned to face him. He would be. You're an incredible person, Tristan. The way you help people, the way you protect the ones you care about. Your father would be very proud. I hope so. I hope he'd also be proud of how I'm handling this, us. The waiting is killing me, but I know it's right. 5 weeks now. I know. I'm counting. As the capsule reached the top, London spread out below them in all directions. Lights twinkled like stars, and the Thames wound through the city like a ribbon. It was magical and peaceful. Thank you for this, Simone said. For everything, but especially for this moment. There will be many more moments like this. I promise you that. Something in his tone made Simone's heart race. This wasn't just about the view or the date. This was a promise for the future. A future they were building together, slowly and carefully. The next day was Sunday, and Tristan had no work scheduled. They spent the morning at a farmer's market, walking hand in hand for the first time. The simple act of holding hands felt monumental, a public acknowledgement of their growing connection. Mrs. Chen had the day off, so Tristan decided to cook lunch. Simone watched from the kitchen island as he moved around, surprisingly competent with knives and pans. I didn't know you could cook, she said. My mother insisted we all learn. She said no child of hers would be helpless in a kitchen. He chopped vegetables with practiced efficiency. It's one of her best lessons. Even with Mrs. Chen here, I like making my own food sometimes. What else did your mother teach you? To treat people with respect, regardless of their position. To never make promises I can't keep. To value kindness over success. He paused, looking thoughtful. She died when I was 16. Cancer. It was fast and brutal. Claire was only 11. Losing her changed everything. I'm sorry. That must have been so hard. It was. But it also taught me to appreciate the people I have while I have them. To not waste time on things that don't matter. He looked at her directly. You matter, Simone. More than I thought possible when I found you in my car. You matter to me too. They ate the lunch he prepared, a simple pasta with fresh vegetables, and talked about everything. Childhood memories, embarrassing moments, dreams for the future. The conversation flowed easily, punctuated by laughter and comfortable silences. In the afternoon, they watched an old movie on the maroon sofa. Halfway through, Simone's head drifted onto Tristan's shoulder. He adjusted slightly, making her more comfortable, and they stayed that way for the rest of the film. When the movie ended, neither moved. The afternoon sun streamed through the windows, bathing the room in golden light. This is nice, Simone murmured. Just being here with you. It is. His arm came around her shoulders, holding her gently. I could get used to this. 4 weeks and 6 days. Tristan laughed softly. Now who's counting? Both of us, apparently. They stayed on the sofa as the afternoon faded into evening, talking and simply being together. It was one of those perfect days that felt suspended in time, where nothing dramatic happened but everything shifted. That week, Simone had midterm exams. She studied hard, using the desk in her room and the quiet of the penthouse. Tristan adjusted his schedule, working from home so he could be nearby if she needed anything. The day of her final exam, she came home exhausted but relieved. Tristan had ordered her favorite takeout and had set up a celebration in the living room. "You worked hard," he said simply. "You deserve to celebrate." They ate and watched another movie, this time a comedy that had them both laughing. When Simone fell asleep on the sofa again, Tristan carried her to her room, tucking her in carefully before retreating to his own space. She woke briefly as he was leaving and mumbled, "Stay." He hesitated at the door. "Simone, you're half asleep." "I know. But I want you to stay. Just sit with me for a while." He came back, sitting in the chair by her bed. "I'll stay until you fall asleep." "Thank you." Her eyes drifted closed. "You're the best thing that ever happened to me, Tristan Blackwell." "You're the best thing that ever happened to me too, Simone Harris." She fell asleep with a smile on her face, feeling safe and loved. The next morning, she woke to find a blanket draped over Tristan, who had fallen asleep in the chair. He looked younger in sleep, the hard edges of his businessman persona softened. She watched him for a moment, her heart full. This was the man she wanted. This was the future she was choosing. And in 4 short weeks, she could tell him that without hesitation. When he woke and found her watching him, he smiled. "Good morning." "Good morning. You stayed all night." "I said I'd stay until you fell asleep." Apparently, I fell asleep first. They shared breakfast in her room, a first in their time together. It felt intimate and right, like a preview of future mornings. 3 weeks and 5 days, Simone said. "But who's counting?" Tristan replied with a grin. "We both are." And they were. Every day brought them closer to the moment they could finally stop waiting and start living. The first snow of November fell on a Tuesday, dusting London in white. Simone stood at the penthouse windows, watching the flakes drift past. Behind her, Tristan was on a phone call with a client, his voice calm and professional. She had finished her midterm exams with excellent grades. Her volunteer work at the shelter was going well, with Patricia hinting at a paid position after graduation. Her life was coming together in ways she had never imagined. And in 2 weeks the waiting would be over. 2 weeks until she could tell Tristan everything she felt without reservation. The peace shattered when Tristan's phone rang. He looked at the screen, frowned, and answered. "Blackwell." Simone watched his expression change from neutral to hard. "I see. Where?" Pause. "Keep him under observation. I'll call my lawyers." Another pause. "No, don't approach him yet. Let's see what he does." He hung up and looked at Simone. "Vincent Crawford is outside the building again. He's been there for 2 hours. Fear gripped Simone's chest. "He's back. Apparently. My security team has been monitoring him. He's just sitting in his car watching. Why won't he give up? It's been 2 months. Tristan's expression was grim. "Because people like Vincent don't handle rejection well. He sees you as property he lost. He wants you back not because he loves you but because he can't accept losing. What do? We document everything. Every time he violates the restraining order, we report it. Eventually he'll either give up or do something that gets him arrested." But Vincent didn't give up. Over the next 3 days he appeared outside the building at different times. Sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the evening. Always just sitting in his car watching. Simone became afraid to leave the penthouse. She skipped her volunteer shifts. She attended her classes remotely when possible. The freedom she had fought for felt threatened. Tristan noticed her fear and decided action was needed. "We're going out tonight. To dinner. With full security. You're not going to hide from him. But what if he follows us? What if he causes a scene? Then my security will handle it. And I'll make sure he understands that harassing you has consequences." That evening they went to a restaurant in Kensington. The security team was subtle but present, watching for any sign of Vincent. Inside, the restaurant was warm and elegant, with candles on every table. Simone wore her maroon dress, the one she had worn to the business dinner. Tristan wore his black suit. They looked like any other successful couple enjoying an evening out. Midway through dinner, the head security guard approached their table and spoke quietly to Tristan. "He's outside. Parked across the street." Tristan's jaw tightened, but his voice remained calm. "Keep monitoring. If he approaches, intercept him." Simone felt her appetite disappear. He followed us. He's obsessed. But we're not going to let him control our lives. Finish your meal. We're not running. It took all of Simone's courage, but she picked up her fork and continued eating. They talked about her upcoming finals, about Claire's art show next month, about anything except the man watching them from outside. After dinner, they left through the front entrance. Vincent's car was clearly visible across the street. As they walked to Tristan's car, Vincent got out of his vehicle. "Simone," he called. "Simone, wait." The security team immediately positioned themselves between Vincent and Simone. Tristan's hand remained steady on her back, guiding her toward his car. Vincent tried to push past the guards. "I just want to talk to her. Simone, please. We need to talk." Simone turned and Tristan allowed it. She looked at Vincent, really looked at him, and felt nothing but pity and relief. "There's nothing to talk about, Vincent. It's over. Please accept that and move on." "Move on? You humiliated me. You humiliated my family. You owe me an explanation." "I owe you nothing. You hurt me. You scared me. I did what I had to do to stay safe." "Safe? With him?" Vincent's gaze shifted to Tristan with pure hatred. "You left me for money. For his money. I left you for my safety. The fact that someone kind helped me afterward is none of your concern. You were mine. I was never yours. I was never anyone's but my own. That's what you could never understand." Tristan spoke for the first time, his voice cold and hard. "Mr. Crawford, you're in violation of a restraining order. My team has documented your presence outside my building 6 times this month. They've documented your surveillance tonight. Either you leave now or I call the police and have you arrested." Vincent looked like he wanted to lunge at Tristan, but the security team's presence stopped him. "This isn't over." "It is," Tristan said firmly. "If you contact Simone again, if you come near her again, I will make it my personal mission to destroy your family's business. I have the resources and the connections to do it. Test me if you doubt it." The threat hung in the air, heavy and real. Vincent looked between Tristan and Simone, his expression twisted with rage and impotence. Finally, he turned and walked back to his car, driving away with a squeal of tires. Simone realized she was shaking. Tristan pulled her into his arms, holding her steady. "You did so well," he murmured. "You stood up to him. You were strong. I was terrified. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting despite fear. You were incredibly brave." They drove home in silence, security vehicles following. Once inside the penthouse, Simone collapsed on the sofa, all her adrenaline draining away. Tristan brought her tea and sat beside her. "My lawyers are filing another police report. With the documentation we have, they should be able to take action." "Will they arrest him?" "Probably not immediately. But they'll warn him. And if he violates the order again, yes, they'll arrest him. I thought I was done being afraid of him. But tonight, seeing him, I was that girl in the church bathroom again. But you didn't run. You faced him. You told him the truth. That's not weakness. That's strength." Simone leaned against Tristan's shoulder, and he wrapped his arm around her. They sat that way for a long time, finding comfort in each other's presence. 10 days, Simone said quietly. 10 days, Tristan agreed. And then everything changes. What if Vincent keeps showing up? What if he never gives up? Then we deal with it. Together. You're not alone in this anymore. The next morning, Tristan's lawyers delivered good news. Vincent's violation of the restraining order had been documented and reported. The police had issued a formal warning. If Vincent appeared near Simone again, he would be arrested immediately. But better than that, Tristan's threat had apparently worked. His lawyers had heard through their connections that Vincent's father had gotten involved, furious that his son's obsession might cost them Tristan's business enmity. Gerald Crawford had personally assured Tristan's team that Vincent would not be a problem going forward. "They're sending him to their company offices in Edinburgh," Tristan explained over breakfast. Apparently, his father decided distance is the best solution. Vincent will be running their Scottish operations, far from London. "So it's really over?" "It's really over. Vincent's gone. You're safe." Simone felt a weight lift from her shoulders that she hadn't realized was still there. "I can't believe it. After all this time, he's just gone. Not gone because he wanted to be. Gone because his father forced him. But the result is the same. You're free." To celebrate, Tristan suggested they visit Claire's studio. When they arrived, Claire took one look at Simone's face and smiled. Something good happened. Vincent is leaving London. He's being transferred to Scotland. It's finally over. Claire hugged her tightly. That's wonderful news. I'm so happy for you. They spent the afternoon painting and talking. Claire was putting finishing touches on her portrait of Simone, and she let Simone see it for the first time. The painting was beautiful and honest. Simone saw herself as Claire saw her, strong but vulnerable, determined but gentle. The woman in the painting was someone Simone was proud to be. This is who you've become, Claire said softly. This is who you always were, just buried under fear. But you found her again. Simone wiped tears from her eyes. Thank you for seeing me this way. Thank you for letting me capture it. That evening, back at the penthouse, Simone and Tristan had dinner on the balcony despite the cold. They bundled in warm jackets and scarves, eating Mrs. Chen's stew and watching the city lights twinkle below. 9 days, Simone said. 9 days, Tristan confirmed. Are you still sure? About us? More sure than I've ever been about anything. These past 2 months have been the happiest of my life. Not because of the penthouse or the clothes or the university. Because of you. Because of who I get to be when I'm with you. Tristan reached across the small table and took her hand. I feel the same way. You've made me remember what it's like to care about something other than work. To want something more than success. What do you want? I want you. I want mornings together and evenings like this. I want to support your dreams and share mine with you. I want to build a life that matters, not just a business that succeeds. That's what I want too. They finished dinner and moved inside, settling on the sofa with hot chocolate. A movie played on the screen, but neither paid much attention. They were too focused on each other, on the future that was just days away. Simone, Tristan said quietly, when the waiting is over, when we can finally acknowledge this publicly, I want to do it right. I want to take you on real dates. I want to introduce you as my girlfriend, not my guest. I want everyone to know how I feel about you. I want that too. All of it. Good. Because I'm planning something special for day 90. Our first official date. You're planning something? Maybe. His smile was mysterious. You'll have to wait and see. 9 days suddenly felt like an eternity, but it was also comforting. They had waited this long. They could wait a little longer. And when the waiting was finally over, everything they had built would be solid and real and permanent. The final week of waiting passed in a blur of activity. Simone had her last university classes before the holiday break. Her professors praised her final papers, and one suggested she consider graduate school after completing her bachelor's degree. Patricia from the shelter formally offered Simone a paid internship starting after graduation. You're exactly what we need here. Someone who understands, who cares, who has the education and the heart. Say yes. Simone accepted gratefully, knowing this was the beginning of her career. Her parents visited again, this time more relaxed. They had met Tristan several times now and had accepted that he was genuinely helping their daughter. Over dinner at the penthouse, Thomas pulled Tristan aside. I want to thank you properly, Thomas said, for everything you've done for Simone, for our family. We can never repay you. You don't need to repay me. Seeing Simone happy, seeing her thrive, that's payment enough. She's different now. Confident. Strong. That's partly because of you. That's all her own strength. I just gave her space to find it. Joyce hugged Simone goodbye at the end of the evening. You're in love with him, aren't you? Yes. Completely. Good. He's in love with you too. Anyone can see it. Be happy, baby. You deserve it. 3 days before the deadline, Claire called. I need you both at my studio tomorrow. I'm having a small showing of my Survivors series, and I want you to see it before anyone else. At the studio the next day, Simone gasped. The walls were covered with Claire's paintings, each one a portrait of a different woman. Each face told a story of pain transformed into strength. In the center wall, given the place of honor, was Simone's portrait. The title card read, Rebirth. Simone Harris. 2024. You're the centerpiece of the collection, Claire explained. Because your story embodies what this series is about. Escape, healing, and transformation. Simone couldn't stop crying. It's perfect. Thank you. Tristan stood beside her, his hand on her back, pride evident in his expression. My sister captures truth. This is the real you. The showing was scheduled for next month, but Claire wanted to give them a private preview. As they walked through the gallery, looking at each painting, each story, Simone felt honored to be included among such strong women. 2 days before the deadline, Tristan came home early from work. Pack a bag. We're going somewhere for the weekend. Where? It's a surprise. Comfortable clothes, warm layers. Mrs. Chen will help you pack. Mrs. Chen appeared with a knowing smile, shooing Simone toward her room. Go on, dear. Let me pack for you. Mr. Blackwell has been planning this for weeks. They left that evening, driving out of London as the sun set. Simone watched the city fade behind them, replaced by countryside. After 2 hours, they pulled up to a small cottage by a lake, lights glowing warm in the windows. "What is this place?" Simone asked. "My family's cottage. We used to come here when I was a kid. It's peaceful and private. I thought we could use some time away from the city." The cottage was cozy and charming. A green sofa sat in front of a fireplace. The kitchen was small but well equipped. Upstairs, there were 2 bedrooms, each with large windows overlooking the lake. "This is beautiful," Simone breathed. "I'm glad you like it. I wanted our first official day together to be special. Somewhere meaningful to me, somewhere I could share my past with you." They spent the evening by the fire, Tristan sharing stories of childhood summers at the cottage. His father teaching him to fish. His mother painting by the lake. Claire learning to swim in the shallow water near the shore. "This place was our haven," he said. "A place where we could just be a family, away from business and expectations. I wanted to be our haven too." The next day, the 90-day deadline arrived. Simone woke to frost on the windows and the smell of coffee brewing downstairs. She dressed quickly in the blue sweater Mrs. Chen had packed and went to find Tristan. He was on the small deck overlooking the lake, 2 mugs of coffee in hand. When he saw her, his smile was soft and genuine. "Good morning. Happy day 90. Happy day 90. Simone took the coffee he offered. "You really counted every single day. Every single one. Though I'll admit, the last week has been torture." They stood in comfortable silence, watching the morning sun burn off the mist rising from the lake. Finally, Tristan set down his mug and turned to face her. "Simone Harris, 3 months ago I found you hiding in my car, terrified and desperate. I helped you because it was the right thing to do. But somewhere along the way, it became about so much more than helping. It became about you. About who you are, how you think, the way you see the world. It became about the fact that I wake up every morning looking forward to seeing you. I go to sleep every night grateful that you're in my life. I've fallen completely, irreversibly in love with you." Simone's eyes filled with tears. "I love you too. I've loved you for weeks now, but I wanted to wait to give us the time you asked for. But I love you, Tristan. I love your kindness and your strength. I love how you protect people without making them feel weak. I love your dry humor and your late-night work sessions and the way you care so deeply but try to hide it. I love everything about you." Tristan pulled her into his arms and for a long moment, they just held each other. Then he pulled back slightly, his hand cupping her face. "Can I kiss you now? I've been waiting 90 days for you to kiss me. So yes, please." Their first kiss was soft and gentle, full of promise and patience finally rewarded. When they pulled apart, both were smiling. "Worth the wait," Tristan murmured. "Definitely worth the wait." They spent the rest of the day at the cottage, taking a long walk around the lake, cooking lunch together, sitting by the fire and talking about the future. Their future together. "I want you to officially move into the penthouse," Tristan said. "Not as my guest but as my partner. We can redecorate however you want. Make it our space, not just mine." "I'd love that. Though I like it the way it is. Still, it should feel like yours too. And I want you to keep pursuing your dreams. The internship, the career, all of it. I'll support you however you need. I want to support your dreams too. Tell me what you want beyond business success." Tristan thought for a moment. "I want to use my resources for more than just profit. Maybe start a foundation that helps women leaving abusive situations. Fund shelters, legal aid, education programs. Use what I have to make a real difference." "That sounds perfect. I'd love to help with that." They talked for hours, planning and dreaming. The foundation idea grew more detailed. Simone suggested they involve Claire and Patricia, building a team of people who understood the issue personally. As evening fell, they stood on the deck again, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of pink and orange. "Thank you for waiting," Tristan said. "For giving us time to be sure. This feels right in a way nothing else ever has." "It is right. We're right. I've never been more certain of anything." That night, they sat by the fire, Simone tucked against Tristan's side. They had waited 90 days to be together. Now they had a lifetime to look forward to. The next morning they drove back to London, hand in hand the entire way. When they arrived at the penthouse, Mrs. Chen was waiting with a knowing smile. "I assume the waiting is over?" she asked. "The waiting is over," Tristan confirmed. "Simone is staying permanently. As my girlfriend and partner." "About time," Mrs. Chen said with satisfaction. "I've been waiting for you two to figure it out." Now, should I move your things to the master bedroom, Simone, or will you keep your room? Simone looked at Tristan, who raised an eyebrow. Your choice. Whatever makes you comfortable. I'll keep my room for now. We can take things at our own pace. Sensible, Mrs. Chin approved. No need to rush. You have all the time in the world. Have you ever believed in second chances? Do you think Simone and Tristan's love story proves that good things come to those who wait? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for the final chapter. Over the next few weeks, their relationship settled into a comfortable rhythm. They went on proper dates, dinner and movies and walks through London. Tristan introduced Simone as his girlfriend to his business associates. Simone introduced Tristan to her friends from university and the shelter. Everyone could see they were in love. It wasn't dramatic or flashy. It was quiet and steady and real. Claire's art showing was a huge success. Several of her paintings sold, including one from the Survivors series. But Simone's portrait remained unsold, not because no one wanted it, but because Claire refused to sell it. That one stays with family, Claire said firmly. At the showing, Simone met many of London's art community. Several people wanted to commission Claire for portraits. A gallery owner offered her a solo exhibition. Claire's career was taking off, and she credited Simone with inspiring her best work. Christmas approached, and Tristan asked what Simone wanted for the holiday. Just you, she said simply. And maybe my parents coming for dinner. I want all the people I love in one place. Christmas Day was perfect. Thomas and Joyce arrived in the morning, bringing gifts and laughter. Claire joined them for lunch. Mrs. Chen cooked a feast, refusing all offers of help but clearly delighted to have a full house. They exchanged gifts by the tree Tristan had bought at Simone's request. She gave him a watch she had saved for months to buy. He gave her a delicate necklace with a small diamond pendant. It's beautiful, she whispered. It's not about the diamond. It's about what it represents. You're precious to me. You shine in my life. I want you to wear this and remember how much you're loved. As the day wound down and her parents left, Simone found herself alone with Tristan on the balcony. Snow was falling gently, and the city below was blanketed in white. This has been the best Christmas of my life, she said. Mine too. Having you here, having family together, this is what matters. Not the success or the money. This. I love you. I love you too. Merry Christmas, Simone. Merry Christmas, Tristan. They kissed under the falling snow, two people who had found each other in the most unexpected way and built something beautiful together. The future stretched before them, full of promise and possibility. And they would face it together, hand in hand, heart to heart. 6 months after their first kiss at the cottage, spring had transformed London. Flowers bloomed in parks, and the city felt alive with possibility. Simone's internship at the shelter had become a permanent position, and she was making a real difference in women's lives every day. Tristan's foundation was officially launched. The Blackwell Foundation for Women's Freedom provided legal aid, housing assistance, and educational grants to women leaving abusive situations. Claire served on the board, along with Patricia and several other advocates. Simone was the director of operations, using her education and personal experience to shape programs that truly helped. The foundation's launch party was held at a beautiful venue in central London. Hundreds of people attended, including donors, politicians, and women the foundation had already helped. Simone gave a speech telling her story publicly for the first time. 6 months ago, I was hiding in a car, running from a life I didn't choose. Today I'm standing here, running toward a life I built myself. That transformation was possible because someone believed in me, protected me, and gave me space to heal. Now I want to give that same gift to other women. No one should be trapped. No one should be afraid. Everyone deserves freedom, safety, and the chance to build the life they want. The audience applauded, many in tears. Tristan watched from the side of the stage, his pride and love evident in his expression. After the party, they returned to the penthouse, exhausted but happy. Mrs. Chen had left them a light dinner and a note congratulating them on the foundation's success. You were incredible tonight, Tristan said as they ate. Your speech moved everyone. I meant every word. This foundation is going to change lives. We're going to help so many people. We already are. I got a call today from our legal team. 3 women contacted us for help within hours of the launch. They heard about the foundation and reached out. 3 women who might have stayed in dangerous situations now have a way out. Simone felt tears prick her eyes. That's amazing. That's why we're doing this. They finished dinner and moved to the balcony. It had become their favorite spot, a place where they could talk and dream while looking at the city they both loved. Simone, Tristan said, his voice suddenly serious. I want to talk to you about something. Okay. What is it? We've been together for 6 months now. 6 incredible, perfect months. You've moved from the guest room to my room. You've made this penthouse our home. You've built a career and a life and a future. I've watched you transform into the strongest, most amazing woman I've ever known. Tristan, Simone started, her heart beginning to race. Wait. Let me finish. 6 months ago I said we should wait, make sure this was real. Well, I'm sure. I've been sure for months. You're everything I didn't know I needed. You make me laugh, you challenge me, you support me. You make every day better just by being in it. I can't imagine my future without you in it. I don't want to imagine it. He dropped to one knee, pulling a small velvet box from his pocket. Simone Harris, will you marry me? Will you build a life with me? Will you let me spend every day trying to make you as happy as you've made me? Simone couldn't breathe. Tears streamed down her face. This moment, this question, it was everything she wanted. Yes, she managed to say. Yes, absolutely yes. Tristan slipped the ring onto her finger. It was perfect, a simple diamond set in platinum, elegant and timeless. Then he stood and pulled her into his arms, kissing her deeply. When they pulled apart, both were laughing and crying at the same time. I love you so much, Simone said. I can't believe this is real. It's real. You're real. We're real. And we're going to have an amazing life together. They spent the rest of the evening on the balcony, calling family and friends with the news. Claire screamed with joy. Simone's parents cried happy tears. Mrs. Chin had apparently known it was coming and had champagne ready in the refrigerator. I helped him pick the ring, Mrs. Chin admitted with a smile. He's been planning this for weeks. It's perfect. Everything is perfect. Over the next few months they planned their wedding. Not a huge production, but something intimate and meaningful. They decided on the cottage by the lake where they had shared their first kiss. Claire would officiate, having gotten ordained specifically for this purpose. Simone's parents would be there, along with Mrs. Chin, Patricia, and a small group of close friends. That was all they needed. The foundation continued to grow. More women reached out for help. More donors contributed. More lives were changed. Simone worked tirelessly, pouring her heart into making sure every woman who came to them got the support she needed. Tristan continued running his business empire, but with a new focus. He sought out projects that benefited communities, that created jobs and opportunities. His reputation shifted from feared CEO to respected philanthropist. Their wedding day arrived in late summer. The cottage was decorated with simple flowers and bright colors. Red roses, blue hydrangeas, maroon dahlias. A green arch stood by the lake where they would say their vows. Simone wore a dress Claire had helped her choose, simple and elegant in cream silk. No white wedding dress that might remind her of the day she ran. This was different. This was her choice. Tristan wore a blue suit, his eyes shining when he saw Simone walking toward him. The ceremony was short and sweet. Claire spoke about love that comes from respect, from choosing each other every day. Simone and Tristan wrote their own vows. Tristan went first. Simone, the day I found you in my car, I thought I was saving you. But the truth is, you saved me too. You reminded me what matters. You showed me that success means nothing without someone to share it with. You made me believe in love again. I promise to protect you, support you, and love you every day for the rest of my life. Simone's hands shook as she began her vows. Tristan, you gave me freedom when I needed it most. You gave me safety, support, and space to become myself. You never tried to control me or own me. You just loved me exactly as I am. You showed me what healthy love looks like. I promise to be your partner, your friend, and your love. I promise to build a life with you that matters. I promise to choose you every single day. They exchanged rings and Claire pronounced them married. Their first kiss as husband and wife was soft and full of promise. The small reception that followed was full of laughter and joy. Thomas gave a toast about how Tristan had saved his daughter and given their family peace. Joyce cried happy tears through the entire event. Mrs. Chin beamed like a proud mother. As the sun set over the lake, Simone and Tristan stood together where they had shared their first kiss months ago. How does it feel to be Mrs. Blackwell? Tristan asked. Perfect. Right. Like everything led to this moment. She looked at her ring, then at him. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for giving me time to heal and grow. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you for building this life with me. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. They stood there as the stars came out, two people who had found each other in the most unexpected way and created something beautiful together. Later that evening, as guests began to leave, Claire pulled Simone aside. I'm working on a new painting. It's called Forever. It's you and Tristan on your wedding day. I want to capture this happiness. I'd love that. You've captured so much of my journey already. Because your journey is beautiful. From running away to running toward. From fear to love. From darkness to light. That's a story worth painting. The next day, Simone and Tristan drove to the airport for their honeymoon in Italy. 2 weeks of sun, art, and exploring together. On the plane, Simone leaned against Tristan's shoulder. I keep thinking about that night in the church bathroom. How scared I was. How I didn't know how I was going to escape. If you had told me then that I'd end up here, married to someone who loves me, doing work I'm passionate about, I wouldn't have believed you. Life has a way of surprising us. The hardest moments sometimes lead to the best outcomes. Do you ever regret helping me? All the complications, Vincent's harassment, the time and money you invested. Tristan turned to look at her directly. Not for a single second. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. I'd do it all again in a heartbeat. I love you. I love you too. Now and forever. The plane took off, carrying them toward new adventures and new memories. Behind them, London held their home, their work, their friends and family. Ahead of them, Italy promised romance and exploration. But more than that, ahead of them stretched a lifetime of choosing each other, supporting each other, loving each other. 3 years later, Simone stood in the nursery of their penthouse, now renovated to include a bright yellow room for their baby daughter. Little Emma, no wait, they had decided against that name. Little Grace slept peacefully in her crib. The foundation had expanded to include programs in 5 cities. Hundreds of women had been helped. Lives had been changed. Claire's art career had taken off internationally. Her Survivors series toured museums around the world, with Simone's portrait always included. Simone had completed her graduate degree while pregnant, balancing motherhood and career with Tristan's full support. They had bought the cottage by the lake permanently, making it their weekend retreat from city life. Life wasn't perfect. There were challenges, busy days, moments of exhaustion. But there was love. Constant, steady, unwavering love. Tristan appeared in the nursery doorway. She's asleep? Finally. She fought it, but she's out now. He came to stand beside Simone, both of them looking down at their sleeping daughter. She's beautiful. Just like her mother. She's going to be strong. We'll make sure of that. She'll never doubt her worth or her choices. She'll have great role models. A mother who chose freedom and built an incredible life. A father who will always protect her but never control her. Simone leaned against Tristan, feeling his arm wrap around her waist. We did it. We built something real and lasting. We did. And we're just getting started. Later that night, they stood on their balcony one more time looking at the city lights. The same view they had shared countless times before, but somehow always new. Do you ever think about that night? Simone asked. When you found me in your car? Sometimes. I think about how close I came to just calling security. How my whole life would be different if I had. No you, no Grace, no foundation. Just business and loneliness. I think about it too. How hiding in your car was the best decision I ever made. How running toward an unknown future was braver than staying in a known nightmare. You've always been brave. From that first moment, you were brave. We were both brave. Taking a chance on each other. Building something when we had every reason to be cautious. Tristan turned her to face him, his hands gentle on her shoulders. Simone Blackwell, I would choose you 1,000 times. In 1,000 different lifetimes, I would always choose you. And I would always run to your car and hide. They laughed, the sound carrying across the balcony and into the night. Then they went inside, to their home, to their life, to their future. A future built on freedom, kindness, and love. A future they chose together. A future that began the night a desperate woman hid in a billionaire's car and found not just safety, but everything she had ever dreamed of.